rice cord. Yeah. Well, the blokes that were less fit, that's where they went, and their duty was they just sat down there and unravelled these bags to be used again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I think the Korean women were.
Yes.
And I went there for one session, I remember.
Yeah. Now you
And I got caught pinching flour.
And what sort of punishment did you get for that?
Well, I was a fairly big bloke and had big arms and legs. And I lost my weight. When I lost my weight, went down to 8 or 9 stone, and my arms didn't wither. They stayed the same, and the Japs called me Popeye.
Oh yes.
My punishment, of course, was they had these sleepers about this long, like that. And my punishment was I had to hold a sleeper above my head for 2 hours. See? Well, you can't do that. Well, while the Jap was in having a cup of tea or whatever he was doing, the Jap guard, I was just outside the guardhouse here, and I'd let it come back on my head. And they'd come out with the wooden sword and bash you on the elbows and make you push it back up again. That's why I got crooked elbows.
Really? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And so that was my punishment for pinching. Well, the flour it was a stupid thing. We had greatcoats on. We brought them up from Singapore with us. And we thought, oh well, there's a bit of flour there, we'll, anything for food. And pin it under the inside, what's the name of the Jacks used to go over you like this and they wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
But the bloody pin could blown and dropped on the ground.
Yeah. Yes. Now, do you remember when you moved on from Formosa? What was the name of the place that you stopped at in Formosa? Do you recall that at all?
Oh, yeah, I was trying to think of the name of the bay today.
Was it Keijo or something like that? Was it Keijo?
It had its old original name.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter that much. If you can tell us now about your voyage, and what was the name of the vessel you were on? The real name, not the one that you gave it.
Well, we used to call it Fukuyama.
Yes, yeah. And can you tell us about your journey from Formosa to Korea in the Fukai Maru?
Yeah. Well, we took off, one evening, and next morning we found ourselves back in harbour. There'd apparently been a submarine scare, and that was the first of them. What was to follow? We didn't know that, of course. So then we set off again, and it was plain sailing. Conditions in the boat were getting horrible. To wash our clothes, there was no water. We just got a rope and strung it over the side of the boat and let the water going through the water. Couldn't leave them there for long, to wash them away. But that's how we washed our clothes. Because you were continually sweating, you were in a state of stink all the time. And some blokes were seasick, and it was there, it was never removed. All this was, and the rats were running over you at night, nipping you. Anyway, after a few days we struck this typhoon. Well, as I said, it was only the expertise of that skipper, I think, on the boat. And we went to the purser of the boat and asked him for better conditions. Just absolutely shocking. There was blokes that hadn't moved for days and weeks. They couldn't eat, they were seasick. And he said that if my emperor wants me to do it, I'll do it. If my emperor doesn't want me to do it. And that was it. So, and then, for another little sequel to the, pinching this stuff from down the hole, there was a English crowd over on the other corner of the hole, and there was a loot, I think, and he said, "I say, chaps," he said, "is that food you're getting?" We said, "Yeah, it is." He said, "What about getting me one?" He said, "If you want one, mate, you go down and get it."
Now, where did you get this food from, and what was it?
That was this. We went down into the hole, and we found clothing, Red Cross parcels, and this boxes of M&V, meat and veg. But it wasn't labelled or anything. It was just in these wooden boxes. And we brought up 4 or 5 boxes, and over 2 or 3 days, because it was hard work climbing straight up with a box of M&V under your arm. So that's when this Tommy bloke got out and said, "Hey chaps, what about it?"
Now that stuff that you, I'll use the term, you stole from the Japs, was not in the hole that you were living in, it was in another one, wasn't it?
We were, like this holes go down like that, and then there's storage space all around these holes. Well, that storage space was divided off into 3-foot platforms.
Platforms,
platforms. That way they were used for taking the Jap troops. Well, they could sit up or anything in that. We couldn't. It was you on your hands and knees or laying flat. But the hold was covered, and like curiosity killed the cat. We went down.
Yes.
And got that. It was tucker, so we said, "The hell."
Yes.
And whether it was stealing from the Japs or not, it didn't.
Have you got any idea how many days it was from Formosa to Korea?
Formosa to Korea. Now, a lot of we're following the Bible, 40 days and 40 nights. So I think it might have been a little bit better than that. But I couldn't say for sure. But I'd say we were at least 20 days from Formosa to Busan on account of the typhoon.
Yes.
And that lasted 24 hours.
And was the vessel hugging the shore, or was it sailing in the open sea?
Stayed in the open sea.
Yeah.
We were wide out in the open sea.
Now I think you mentioned when the